Hey, everybody, welcome to What the Flick, catching up on Preacher, episode 6, Sundowner, Bibbs, Alonso.
Hey, everybody.
Wow. Seraphim.
Yes.
Lots of Seraphim.
Well, or just the same one.
Well, that's true, yes.
Lot.
Just redundanting, multiplicitying.
This episode diverges quite a bit from the comics. So the mythology is basically the same, but the stuff that happens, a lot of it isn't in there. And yeah, this huge fight with the Seraphim. But this feels like a Seth Rogen-y, Evan Goldberg-y kind of concept. The idea was we're going to have someone we fight. Every time we kill them, they just run back into the room.
Right.
That is a comic set piece. It's not really that horrifying. It's just absurd and bizarre, and they milk it for as long as they can.
You could have put yakety sax over that sequence, and it wouldn't have been entirely out of place.
No,
but
it would have kind of fit.
It was fun.
It was a neat sequence.
Yes.
And it was an entertaining way, because the thing with Preacher, especially as the show, is, again, as some people are complaining, it's taking a bit to actually get to the meat of what we think of as the comic book series. And so some people have been arguing that it's a little bit slow. So punctuating it with this sort of ridiculously crazy fight scene, even though it mostly takes place in just one motel room, really does spice it up a bit.
I am embarrassed to admit that it took me 6 episodes to get the joke of the name of the town.
Okay.
Anvil.
Yeah.
Like anvil.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Like the
thing that you blacksmith on, you know, because aren't there a certain like Death Valley that they refer to as like Satan's anvil or something?
Oh yeah.
You know, anvil. I didn't catch that. So anyway.
Okay, I thought maybe it was there was like a heavy metal reference I missed or something.
Oh, could be, but no, I don't know. I just the word there was the word has 2 meanings anyway.
So the mythology of what's going on is starting to be, again, I read the comics, it's starting to be revealed to you. Learn about Genesis today.
Right.
What did you think of how that was presented? What do you think of what that means about the show? Like,
it scans with where we were going. You know, I mean, obviously, if you have 2 angels trying to get this thing back, the thing being the issue of a coupling between an angel and a demon. Sure, okay, that's of a piece. So, you know, I mean, fine. I think in a way it's almost like I don't really care about the specifics that much. It's more about what's it doing to Jesse and what's Jesse doing to everyone else with it.
Yeah.
You know, so fine, we have an explanation, let's move on.
And that's something they're exploring quite well on the show, I feel. I think in the comics, it just sort of, Jesse was just such a badass that it was just sort of understood that he would be responsible and moral with this, or at least as much as Jesse could. Whereas in the show, we're really seeing him sort of become drunk on the power of godhood a little bit. And you could have fallen. The whole show could have been about a preacher who can make people do whatever he wants. You could just do that. It had nothing to do with the comic book preacher, and you could do some really dark, messed up thing about a preacher ends up becoming like, you know, the new pope or something like that, just gradually coming to power. And what we see in this episode is he's about to basically bestow the word of God on everybody. And then when Eugene, bless Eugene, what a sweet lad, Eugene tries to very reasonably tell him that's not actually the right thing to do. He sends Eugene to hell.
Again, it's like, you know, you got to be really careful about those commands when you've got the stuff there. So that was quite the climax.
I wonder if he can order him back from hell. I mean, because previously he can only make people do stuff they knew how to do. Like he couldn't sing Johnny Cash if he didn't know a Johnny Cash song.
Right.
But you can just go to hell.
True. Yeah.
I wonder if there are limits now.
Yeah. Well, and if it's not like Eugene could take himself there, so maybe he can get him back. I guess.
I don't know. I wonder how serious this is because Arseface lasts longer in the comics.
Right.
A lot. So
I don't think they're going to get rid of him after episode 6.
Such a nice character. There aren't a lot of nice people on the show.
Right. Well, I imagine the post-hell Eugene won't be all that nice either, but we'll see.
Oh, it's going to be like Supernatural. I see what you're saying.
Or just like, you know, he's seen some shit, you know.
What do you think about Tulip and Emily finally having some scenes together?
You know, that was interesting. I think, well, I guess now the show passes the Bechdel test. Although they mostly talk about Jessie, but nonetheless.
Perpendicular. They talk about her kid's art thing.
Oh, that's true. You're right. It's not an ashtray.
I like that it was called an art thing. I remember thinking to myself, she just broke some art thing. And it's like, you broke my kid's art thing. I'm like, fair enough.
No, I mean, I like those actresses. Although, again, Dave, not really watching the show, but he'll drift in long enough to go, oh, these accents are killing me. Because he lived in Texas for a long time.
Who did he say who has the worst or who's like the least plausible? Who drives him the most nuts?
Between Emily, Tulip, and Jessie, he thinks they're all wrong.
Okay.
And then in the scene where Jessie and Cassidy are standing together in their skivvies waiting for the laundry to come out, he's like, there are a couple of pipsqueaks.
Oh yeah, we just went through all of that, and then they have a nice heart-to-heart about their sexy tattoos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're friends. I wonder, there's that bit in the closet with Tulip and Cassidy about, will we tell them that we had, had the fornication? And a part of me is just like, I don't care.
Well,
I don't care.
She only did it to make him jealous in the first place, so whatever.
Well, she regrets it, obviously, otherwise she would be bragging about it.
Yeah.
So, but a part of me is just like, oh, is this going to be a thing? Are we going to do a love triangle thing?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a thing between Tulip and Cassidy. It wasn't like, no one's going to ship that. I think that's my point.
We also already have the Jessie, Tulip, Emily love triangle.
Right.
So do we now need the Jessie, Tulip, Cassidy love triangle on top of it?
Not particularly, I think.
Yeah, and Cassidy doesn't strike me as a lovey kind of guy, although he says he has fallen for Tulip, but who knows?
Yeah. He's not a... I don't know if he's like boyfriend material.
Not so much.
He's banging in the backseat of a car material.
Yes.
I totally get it.
You don't bring him to tea with the cousins.
No.
Whatever that means. I just made it up.
I'm trying to think what else happened in this episode. And that's kind of the main bullet points. We didn't get to see what's going on with King Cannon. We saw that his assistant
the mayor covers up the crime.
Yes.
Which, I'm sorry, I know it's nice you can fake a car accident to fire, but they're still going to have giant buckshot holes in them.
Well, you shove like car parts in there and it'll be fine. They just have a fender sticking out of their chest.
I mean, that's I get... In the moment, that's going to be maybe handy, but if Anvil has a remotely competent coroner, like that is not going to stand.
I'm sure that's very plausible.
Yes.
That they have a remotely competent coroner.
Well, at least as good as the coroner they have on Scream,
Well.
So that's what I love that the mayor has the 3 khaki pants to choose from.
Oh.
That are identical. His Dockers.
Yeah. There was Jeff Goldblum in the Fly wardrobe.
Exactly.
Honestly, this episode had to deliver exposition, and I think it did that job well. I think it managed to sort of hide the fact that all it was mostly doing was delivering exposition by putting in a fun action sequence. And I think it has a cliffhanger that may not be like this huge, holy shit, the world's going to end cliffhanger, but it was sad. Again, there's only like maybe 2 characters who seem like actually decently moral on the show, and it's Eugene and it's Emily.
Yeah.
And makes you wonder how bad Emily's going to turn out, because this is not going to be kind to her. I suspect she's going to end poorly.
No one here is coasting toward any kind of glory, I don't think.
Not anytime soon.
And I think we'll get Eugene back, but I think we're going to get a transformed Eugene, not a possessed Eugene, but just to like a...
He's seen some shit.
Yeah. So, but I try not to leap ahead too much. I'm not a predicty person.
But the whole point of a serialized entertainment is that it will go on and that you do speculate. So I think that's perfectly reasonable.
I just try not to. I figure, look, they'll tell me. I'm not going to you're the one who talks about how the internet is taken up with far too much discussion of things that haven't happened yet and may never happen. So
well, yeah, but the difference is there's a difference between there's a news story about how an actor would like to be in a movie someday, even though there's no actual discussion about the movie. Like, it's not a news story. It's bullshit. And there's a difference between that and a show which will have more episodes and just got picked up for another season.
Yes.
So we will probably get to it. So I think that's a little bit more reasonable.
I let it come to me. Let it be a pleasant surprise that I haven't spent too much time trying to anticipate or
open
or
before
forecast.
you like a flower of joy.
Exactly.
Yes.
All right. So until next time, what is this? Just keep preaching?
I don't know. God and stuff.
All right. Next time.
know that.